Hi, my name is Maryna Kuzmenko, and today we have our next conversation at Agfluencers. Our project Agfluencers is about inspirational women in sustainable agriculture. It's my big pleasure to welcome today a promising lady who is already almost finished her PhD in plant pathology, and also she's a founder of the startup called Farming in Nigeria. She is inspiring more Nigerians to join sustainable agriculture. This is my pleasure to welcome Kafilat Adedeji. Hi, Kafilat.
Hello, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Kafilat, you have so many projects in your portfolio as influencer and as a person who is doing agriculture technologies business. So, how did you start everything?
This is going to be a very long conversation, but I'll try to cut it as short as possible. So I'll be brief as much as possible. I'll really cope, and I'm sorry to say that. Okay, so basically, it's sprang from the agriculture. My agricultural background is from my academics, like right from my degrees, 2005 to 2010, undergraduate. Everything is agriculture. I studied agronomy in a graduate level. I graduated with a first class in agronomy. So being a first class graduate is actually the first thing that give me that challenge to work in the agricultural sector. Now, the educational background in my country, in my university, is more of theoretical based than practical based. But I got a first class, so it's a challenge on my part because I have to be able to defend my certificate. And agriculture, it has to be practical. So I wouldn't want to give any excuse that my school only teach us theory, they didn't teach us practical. So I'll start giving that excuse for my failure in the field. No, 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 no. So I have to go extra mile to go garner the practical skills. So I'll be able to defend my certificate. And that was the first year of practicing agriculture for me. Coincidentally, I was born into a farming family, right? From my parents, my grandparents, like we own a family farm. It has always been.
What did they grow as a farmers?
We grow crops basically from plantain to vegetables. We make beds ourselves. We grow the vegetables we eat for our family sustainably, and we sell the remaining ones. That's basically it. Like our vegetables, our plantain. Furthermore, we actually have a fish farm, earthen fish pond. That is more of a business side. That's aquaculture. We do more of that for business sake. But for the vegetables, for the plantain, and all of that, that is basically for our family consumption. We only have to sell the excess. So basically, that's what we are passionate about doing that, not just maybe for business or anything. It's just because we are born into that family. My parents inherit from their grandparents, and it has become a culture. So basically, so I would now say like I was fortunate to go study agriculture again in the university, though it was actually not my part of my plan. I only made the resolution in my second year that if I'm not going to cross over to medicine, I wanted to study medicine, that I'm going to stay here in agronomy and become the best student. When I know that I actually merited crossing over to medicine, I had all the CGPA, I had all the grades for me to cross over to that department, and everything is still working against me not to be in medicine. So I had to say, fine, maybe perhaps this is what just God wants me to do. So if I'm not going to medicine because of the opportunity that I'm not granted, then I should be able to bring out the best in agronomy. And that was just a resolution for me. And eventually I graduated with a first class. So having graduated with a first class, the challenge for me now is to be able to defend my certificate by being practically oriented. And luckily for me, from my background of farming as a family, I had my IT industrial training in agricultural projects, farms, government farms around. So I was able to garner practical skills. Eventually, my service year, because in Nigeria, when you have a graduate, after your graduate, your first work experience, you'll be posted to another state to have an industrial experience. They call it service, national youth service. So you have 1 year to do that in Nigeria. So luckily for me, most people, they are usually posted to schools to go and teach. But luckily for me, I was posted into an irrigation basin project, Bakolori Irrigation Basin Project, which is a rice farm by the federal government of Nigeria. in Zamfara State. So it's actually a big project. They use irrigation to farm rice. So I was being posted to be the assistant intake officer in the unit for G rice farmers. So that's another bunch of experience for me. And I have one good year to be in that organization. So that was my first big experience in the agricultural sector, where I had to work with local farmers. I had to supply them improved seeds. I have to supply them good technology to farm their rice under my supervisor and all of that. So at that point, I had to take up my own personal projects too within that irrigation basin organization. I had my own 0.2 hectares farmland where I also cultivate my own rice as my own private business project while also monitoring other farmers. So that was actually my first experience. So I had to leave after my 1 year service, so which made me not to be able to conclude the whole project in my presence. So
I feel like,
being part of my
sorry for interrupting. Was it challenging for you after the university just start the real life, the real practice, and grow rice? Do you remember, like, first impression, first challenge? What it was?
The first challenge was when I had to leave and I had to say, people manage my rice farm for me. You know, I had invested everything. The only thing left is the fact that they have to harvest my rice for me. And there was a language barrier. We do not speak the same language, different states in my country. So managing the workers was easy for me while I was there because I used my supervisors. But now that I'm not there anymore, that was the end. So I couldn't get anything from my rice farm. That was the first challenge I had. So I actually thought because I was farming in absence, I was not there to monitor. And number two, the language barrier. Number three, the basic problem again, which is number three, is me being a female, because the male do not want to respect me. They don't want to listen to me. And so even if I had to talk to tomorrow, iron hand that you have to provide me with my harvest, what I paid you, they wouldn't want to listen to me because I'm a female. So that I would say that was actually the major challenge out of the three challenges I faced in seeing the breakthrough of that project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, going forward, after my service here, 6 months, my first paid employment was actually as an assistant farm manager in a private farm. And the farm is the largest supplier of mushrooms to ShopRite in Nigeria. I don't know if you know ShopRite. ShopRite is a very big mall in Nigeria and South Africa. So this farm that I worked with as the assistant farm manager supply mushroom to them. And they're actually the largest supplier of mushrooms. So I work in this farm for 6 months actually as the assistant farm manager. So that was actually another plus for my agricultural experience, which was actually a good one for me, because in that farm, they actually want to practice organic farming, something like a replica of what we have in Songhai farm. I don't know whether you know Songhai farm in Benin Republic. Songhai farm in Benin Republic. So that was the model the farm wants to work on, practical organic farming. So basically, that was where I had my organic farm experience, and that was actually what keep opening my eyes to the agricultural sector, practicing in the field, because I keep gathering experience, and I wouldn't just want this experience to waste.
I see. Kafilat, and regarding your experience on that assistant position, so your boss was male or female? You were supporting him as assistant. Who it was? It was male or female?
My boss was a male.
Male.
I have 2 males as boss. This was another hell of problem for me. In a farm of 3 learned workers, female. You can't imagine that. In a farm, a big farm of 3 skilled workers, graduates, and 7 unskilled workers, I was the only female. That was another hell. That was another hell for me. I was this. I'm this kind of person that is very transparent and open. For everything you spend on the farm, I have to take account for it. Like, I'm very, very accountable for everything, and that made me become a threat to my boss. I would say that.
Oh, wow.
You know that? Like, why did you have to spend this? You have to be accountable. I had to write everything down. You understand? Maybe because I'm a female, or maybe because of my personality, it's made me become a threat to my boss. And I would say this was actually a problem, though I was favored by my employer, because of that attitude. But my immediate boss, I had to report to because I'm the assistant farm manager. My farm manager took this as a threat. You get the point. So that actually did not even made me to stay so much on that farm, because actually I was working, I was earning money, and I was furthering my education as my master's, but I wasn't deriving that pleasure because the fact that my farm manager is not happy with me, despite the fact that my employer is happy with me. So
I understand. I
that's
understand
another
this
problem.
interpersonal relationship. It's always not so easy.
Yes.
And what is the way between when you are the managing assistant and then you have your farming? How did you get the idea to go to your own? I understand why, probably because I am on the same boat. But how did you get this power inside of you just to start your farming?
It's just resonates to my personality again. I would say I'm very stubborn. Like I'm this go-getter. Like stubborn in the good way. I want this thing until I dare it. I have to get it. Except I see a challenge on the way and that says you are not going to see this at all costs, and I have to go back. But I have to do everything in my power to get it. So basically for me, starting my own organization is for me to be fulfilled. Like I really want to be in control. I really want to be able to create my own world. Like people say this thing is not possible. I want to break that barrier. I want to disrupt the system. I want to do things that people say is not possible. Everybody has been telling me you're a female, you can't do this. My husband tell me, my father tell me you can't do this. You're a female. I just want to do it. I want to see what will happen when I do it.
Yeah, it's
You get the point. So basically,
good.
that's actually what made me. But starting an organization for me because of my openness, my personal attitude, the good that I've also done, I would say that in the organization I've worked with, it's helped me to get like mind to be willing to work with me. In fact, basically most of my employees, I mean, most people that work with me, they are volunteers. I pay them no money and they are willing, happy to work with me. So like it makes many people willing to work with me for free without me paying them a dime. I hope you get the point. So that has been the energy for me. Even when I have every reason to say I'm quitting this thing is very challenging, I'm not doing anymore. Those people that surround me give me the go ahead to keep pushing. Until recently, I would say this year, I started having structures and all of that because I'm opportune to be trained by different business incubation programs, like the Autumn School, German School of Sustainable Entrepreneurship, the ASA Autumn School, like the Netherlands incubation program, Orange Corners, Nigeria. So these are international organizations that are giving me good training that is making me to structure my organization to meet up with the global world, like build it to an international level, which is actually my vision for my organization.
Tell us about your vision which you want to raise in front of people who come to your farm. So what is your vision?
My vision is to see people farm on their limited urban space and earn a decent living. Many people see farmers as bad people in the society, as people that are unskilled, as dirty people or a dirty job. I want people to be able to farm and earn a decent living, like irrespective of whatever resources they have at their disposal. That is my vision. So the world become a better place for everyone. Like the farming job that they take as a work, they should be able to earn a decent living and be able to, people should be able to respect them for that. Farmers should take their good place in the society, not to be seen as dirty people in the society or people that are unlearned or unskilled. No, I want people to be able to farm on their limited urban space with little or no resources, free of chemicals, and earn a decent living doing that particular thing they're doing. That is my vision.
Kafilat, and how many people do you have in your team who are supporting you with doing all projects in your farms?
Right now, we have volunteers up to 7, and we have paid employee for now 1, permanent. Then I have 2 contract staff, excluding myself and my partner.
And returning to the point when you started your farming, what was the challenge for starting? Because yes, you were still in male-dominated industry, you were still among males, but what other challenges did you face?
The challenges, number 1, is I actually did not have any business knowledge. I was only coming into agricultural place based on my passion, based on my experience working in farms, based on my expertise as an agronomist, as a master's in plant biology, as a PhD student. I was just going there for passion's sake. I have zero knowledge for business. So that was one major challenge for me, because I teach people, I say I'm doing business and it's not sustainable, because they just take the idea and go out and launch it as a business. And I am there not anything for what I do, because I'm just doing it for passion's sake. So I would say that was the greatest challenge. The second challenge for me is the fact that as a female, I have to attend to family needs. I had to get married. Getting married for me, I changed location. I could not carry my land. I could not carry my farmland. I had to start all over again, building a farm in an urban space, in a city where there's no farmland. So like I'm doing what is impracticable. And I could not stop, because I had grown to some extent. I could not say I'm stopping farming totally. I had built the expertise, I had built the traction, but I just changed location because I relocated, I got married. So it's like I'm starting all over again. So that was another major challenge for me. And I would say number 3 challenge is the fact that I'm a female. I'll keep saying this. I'm a female. I have this weakness of my competitors, which are guys. They say they want 5 million or 10 million naira, they go for it. I will be timid as a female. I say, even if I see 5,000 naira, I'm okay. When my competitors know that it's going to be 10 million naira that will make this project, because of my female and passiveness, I will say, I can do with 5,000 naira. I can manage 5,000 naira. And eventually the money will not be enough and will not build anything for me. So it made me have financial problems and not be able to build to sustainably, not thinking the end while starting, all because of my limitation. I hope I'm able to answer that question.
And where did you get funding? Did you apply for any kind of scholarship or any grants? Or how do you advise other women in similar circumstances to get funding to start their business?
Okay, so for me, at a point, I did not even, I keep applying for scholarships, but I didn't get scholarship opportunity. But I had to re-strategize, because UFAMI is basically on 2 categories, product level and service level. The products, we sell organic farm inputs, and the service, we teach people in terms of courses and sell farming courses to them. They come to train on our farms and all of that. So the idea is for me to build the farm first, so that people can come to my farm and say, this is a farm that is working, then we want to come and learn. But that didn't work for me, because I don't have the funding to build a farm of that taste I actually wanted, that people will be attracted to. So I had to re-strategize, and I used technology. I leverage on technology. So I started from my strengths, which is the knowledge and the skills that I've acquired in schools and all the farms that I had worked for. So I started training first. So I did backward integration. So started training first, and I use technology. So I train people basically on WhatsApp, on Telegram, without having a physical farm, but using the farming knowledge, the expertise I've learned from different farms I had worked for, you understand? So I was able to tell them, to teach them farming, and I was able to gather funding from there, because I charge a little for teaching in that platform I created. So it is now that money that I garnered from teaching that I now use to build the farm. Do you see the backward integration? So when I now was able to build the farm to gain traction, last year I started applying for funding. Do you understand? And yes. Presently now we've been able to get a $5,000. I still work bigger funding of it.
Kafilat, and also a question about, you told the lack of knowledge how to do business. Where did you get this knowledge to start?
So I started applying for business incubation program. And because I don't have money to fund myself to Harvard Business School, I was looking for business incubation program that were free, that were on scholarship. So I started applying for that. Even if I did not get grants, I got free business incubation program that I was able to enroll to learn free of charge and top notch for that matter. So I've been able to train with 3 business schools. Last year was Autumn School of Sustainable Entrepreneurship, which was in Ghana. That was by German African Exchange Program. That was a very good one. In fact, it's the best of all the ones I had one with Microsoft. I had another one with Accelerate, which is the Future Award Africa. Okay, so basically I'm on my 3rd one now, which is with the Netherlands. So this one I have now is both training, business training, at the same time with funding attached to it, unlike the ones I've been doing before, which is just strictly business training. So right now I'm doing the one that has business training alongside funding, which makes it a double win for me. But while starting out, I got business trainings, and that was what had made me to garner the right business experience.
Kafilat, and also I have a question. Where did you get all this energy and inspiration not to give up, just move ahead? How do you inspire yourself? Or maybe someone else is inspiring you?
The resilience maybe I would say resilience has been built into my DNA. I would say that personally, from day one, it has always been people, my daddy not giving up on me, talking to me if I make any mistake. He doesn't allow me to just go away with any mistake. He made me realize that, Kafilat, you have made a mistake. And like every now and then they keep talking to me. And because I want to become a good person, I see that talking to me, that scolding me, so to say, as something that made me improve upon myself. So I had to seek anyhow way for me to be able to I know what I wanted to do was good, but my father would not understand, so he was scolding about it. And I don't want to offend my father. So I was looking for every way, every strategy to become a better person to him, so that he will be convinced and see that I'm actually doing the right thing. That's one thing. Second thing is, I'm a Muslim, a Muslim that covers my body. I mean, that covers that's another problem to me in the society. Society see me as somebody that, because I'm covering my head, I don't have anything to offer the society. They look down upon me, despite the fact that I'm a learned person, I've traveled, you understand, they still not see me and not convinced because of my appearance. So I want to change that perspective. That I want to change that wrong perspective that people look at me in. So I already have that thing inside me that I want to, whatever you think that you're seeing me that I'm not doing right, I want to be able to convince you that I'm a good person. I want to be able to convince you that I want you to see the right person of me. So that has been the way I've been growing. So I just adopted that same strategy for my business. Do you understand? So it's like resilience, and building that resilience has become part of my life, and that is just what has made me to what I am today.
Thank you, Kafilat, for your openness and transparency. Of definitely, it's not only about you; it's very personal things which you said. Thank you. And also, I know that you are quite active person at LinkedIn, but also maybe you have other people or companies to follow.
My number one is Nigerian University. I love their research is top notch, and I've always aspired to study in that university for my research. Like, it's what I look forward to in the Netherlands. That's my number one, because I just have this personal passion for research. Like, I'm just that research person. I was into business because I want to be able to sustain my research. And I see that university as the one that I've seen all over the world that are doing my number. And the second company that I like to follow are the company that are into sustainable organic agriculture. Sustainable organic agriculture, they are doing more than I am doing, that I can learn from, that I can leverage on their technology. I can leverage on what they are doing right. I can use to build my own small company and become big too in the nearest future. So those are the kind of companies I like to follow.
Okay.
It's one, actually. I want a global one.
I want definitely thank you for your time today, that you spent this evening, Friday evening, with us and spoke about your life. If I will get any information about free business accelerator, I will share it with you, because I understand that for you it's very important to get this knowledge and to get some network of connections who will help you. So thank you so much, Kafilat, for today, and
Thank you.
I wish you good luck. I sincerely wish you good luck with your farm, and we will stay in touch.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for what you're doing.